Girl, what? Girl, what?
Girl, what? Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Girl, What? I'm your host, Danielle Denise, and I'm joined by my very first Zoom guest and fellow podcaster, co host of Eight More Than 92 podcast. I almost butchered that, but I saved it. And he's also a Navy nurse. So please welcome James Harrison.
Thank you for having me on here today. We got this one down. This one went good. It's like an NBA call out before I come to the finals. So I appreciate it.
Yes. Welcome.
I'm glad to be on. It's my favorite. It's my favorite show outside of mine.
You're just trying to make me blush.
Gotta be. I gotta be a good guest.
You're doing phenomenal. How are you doing today?
It's pretty good today. My Titans got a win, so we 3-0. So it's nothing bad. If they did lose, it'd probably be a different dynamic and tone that I was on here with.
Well, I'm glad they won for the sake of my episode.
It would have been a hard fake, but just to have been fake laughing, knowing we lost the way we was about to lose would have been hurtful, and my fantasy would have took a huge hit. So I'm glad they pulled it out.
Well, shout out to fantasy football. Are you also doing like DraftKings and bets and stuff like that?
So I get luck on shit that I didn't think I was gonna get lucky for, but like whenever I put my money into something, I never get lucky like that. So I don't do all that with money involved. I just kind of do the stay in your lane free pool. So like I get moral victories and like high fives and shit, but no money.
Got you. Well, there's money out there if you ever change your mind.
That's true. Can I cuss on here? I'm probably too past that. Okay.
What is your favorite curse word? Do you have one?
Depends, like bitch or something like boy. It depends. It depends on what I'm saying. Like it can get really country cussing, like, oh, this nigga here, boy, I tell you, or
You
something like
are a
that.
little country. I mean, you are from Tennessee, right?
615 on, born and raised.
Oh, hey now. Didn't even
Nashville,
know.
Tennessee. Of course, country product through and through.
I love it. I'm a Cali girl, so I think bitch is pretty standard. I like bitch.
Y'all
I
don't put
like
the
fuck
same.
when it applies to though.
Y'all don't put like the same emphasis in. Like, man, you're a bitch. Like, you gotta really like you
Yeah.
put more on the ch and we put it on the b. Like, depending on how long you hold that b, that's really like being predicated on how serious it's gonna be. Like, or like fuck is like more like how sugar is the Kool-Aid. So fuck is not a standalone. Like, man, the fuck is you talking about, nigga? So it's like a compound. It's never like a standalone word. So it's like, and it's like, none of the words are spelt exactly how they sound. Like, man, this motherfucker here. So it's like an M and an F and a CUKA and all that shit, but y'all are very proper. It's kind of weird.
Sorry, not sorry, because it is what it is. All right.
We appreciate it.
So we're gonna get into today's topic. We're gonna talk about COVID because we're still in a pandemic. There's still cases rising. People are still out here getting infected. And oh my lord. My neighbors are doing the most above me. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. I was gonna play it off, but I don't
That
care.
shit
I
was
heard it.
louder, like it came through the ceiling.
Yeah, it was funny because it was as you was giving the COVID proclamation about how shit is
Listen,
serious. Then your roof caved in.
right. I wasn't even talking shit. I'm just like, these are facts. But we're going to talk about being infected with COVID. It is a disease. And unfortunately, unfortunately, but fortunately, my guest has had it and survived it. He's here
Sound
to
like
share his survival story.
sound like I had AIDS or got off my chest.
He didn't say it was all that. It was it was COVID-19, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different level. But yes, and especially with you working in the medical industry for the most part, I don't know if there are different measures of how that worked for you. I just want to get into like everything you're willing to share, like who, what, when, where. Starting with like maybe when you got it and maybe how you thought you got infected, because I feel like the way they told us of how we could get this is like you could just go outside and breathe and then boom, you have the disease. So I don't know how intense it was for you.
So I can only say so much because I signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, to only say the word vid and 19. So no, I'm playing. So
Listen, I believed you.
nah, I guess just kind of how it was. I make sure I watch my so I make sure I slow down talking. So I basically like we started in March when we was doing it, and caught myself. We started in March and we just seeing like a whole bunch of patients and stuff come in, and everything was kind of like the normal, and it was extra more than it was cautionary because where I'm at with my job is because everybody was so hypersensitive over the disease. Since everybody was so hypersensitive over the disease that even if you came up with the cough or slightest symptoms, you had to go home or they would do like a spider web. So
Pause. What is a spider web?
spider web is basically, so say Danielle, you came in coughing, right? So if they think that you hit enough for COVID, then they'll send you in for COVID. But anybody that was around you, they put them off of work until your test come back, right? So say like some people come in just for sinus or a headache and they would just send them home just for precautionary. But if you say hit 3 of the signals for COVID, which is like loss of taste, loss of smell, headache, cough, and any of those type of 3, they're gonna send you in for COVID testing specifically. And when they do that, once you get to that type of phase, then anybody that had any type of contact, just in case, they're gonna send them on a, I don't know what y'all call it, but we call it like ROM, but it's basically that you got to go in quarantine, basically. And so until that person that was the initial cause of it comes back clear, so you're going to have to be delayed. And if they do come back positive, then everybody that has some type of contact with them, whether it's touching hands or working with them or whatever, then they got to get tested as well. But that's what the spider web is, basically. Anybody that person came into contact with, they have to all be in the same quarantine until the main person comes back negative.
Got it. Okay. I feel like my job that happened sometime in August too, ironically, is someone had it in the office. So we all had to get tested. We had to stay out of the office for 2 weeks. And then we went back to work. So being that you were in a facility with COVID patients, you were already getting tested and stuff, right?
So they weren't testing us specifically in medical. They were, so like where I'm at right now is I'm not at a hospital. Where I'm at in my job, I'm like on a ship. So like you got the medical department of the ship, and then you got like the certain areas, like you got the people who work in the kitchen area, you got the people who work in the engine room, you got the people who work doing like the labor parts, like sanding and stuff like that. So they don't necessarily get tested, but they won't let you come on the ship period until you have been cleared to like come on and say you haven't said yes to any of the questions. So we weren't giving out tests per se on the ship. We would send them to the main hospital but they had to qualify. That's weird. You got to have enough symptoms to even qualify to get the test because it
Right.
was so limited. So they're not just going to test anybody that comes through with corona symptoms, because all you know, if you got to just start coughing, every common cold has the same like 2-3 symptoms: nausea, headache, cough, and congestion. You know what I mean? So it's so easy to get those confused, but there's an outlier to each one that separates them from all. So anybody can sit there and have that, especially with the weather change and stuff like that. Allergies go. So you're not going to send everybody in for a COVID test because it was so limited. So we technically weren't working under COVID people because we didn't have an outbreak at the time.
Okay. Got it. So then how do you think you got in contact with it? What were you
So
doing?
what was I doing? um So it's funny. So from it started in March. So from like March to June, like everything was cool. I wasn't like doing anything extra. I, I didn't come in contact with all. I went under the quarantine for like around June 15ish. And that's because I was a patient that came in and they thought. So I was helping the patient that day. And so they sent it in. So I had no symptoms and we hadn't had an outbreak yet on our ship except for like one person. And so I come back and I was already going on like time off. So I was at home. So I don't have any symptoms. And then I go home for like 4 days. So like a day or so before I'm supposed to go back to work, like I get like this bad ass headache, like this sinus, like it's just like a pressure like on the front of my head. And I had like this badass headache and it just hurt like shit. And I'm like, man, I haven't been sick since the 5th grade. So that was kind of like, what the hell? So I thought it was like a sinus infection or something like that. So it was like my head was pounding, shit like that. And I didn't do anything. So that's why I was kind of like, well, how am I getting it when I'm like on vacation versus all the times I've been working, I never get the symptoms. So that lasts for like a week of the that lasts for like a week of that. And so I'm sitting there and it's like a week go by and I'm like, all right, this kind of weird. I ain't never had nothing last as long. They ain't doing nothing giving me like Dayquil and shit and Sudafed or ibuprofen like to just manage the headaches. So I'm like, okay, it's been like a week. And so at this point, I hadn't been on the ship when we had like our big thing happen, like a big outbreak. So I had already been off. So I come back and they're like, yeah, this is yeah, it's like a whole bunch of people are going out left and right. So I'm like, word. I was like, ain't this the bitch? I was like, So I'm jokingly like, man, dang, man, I could have wanted them time. I want that time off while y'all wait and get it when it comes through. But it's like I said, a week goes by. And so he was like, yeah, we started getting tipped off when people were saying they lost taste and smell. And so I was like, that's crazy. So I didn't, you don't really register that your body knows like a whole bunch of taste and smell. And you can only taste salt. So black people, of course, over season their stuff with salt a lot. So when I was eating at home, I didn't really notice that I wasn't tasting it because I could still taste the salt. And like I know what Powerade or orange juice or something tastes like without me even looking in the cup. So I'm not even really paying attention that I had lost my taste and smell. So I was just kind of like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So I think I had just bought black ice. And if anybody has bought black ice air freshener, that's the strongest type of air freshener out there. So I'm like, I can't smell it after like 2 days. I'm like, it don't usually go away that quick. So it's like all under my nose. And have you ever seen the like the things they use to get people from being unconscious?
The little sniffer
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
He put that thing all under my nose. And I was like,
Oh, you
is it
couldn't
under
smell
there?
it.
No, he told me to close my eyes. I didn't know it was there. So yeah, he put it all up under there and I couldn't smell it. And I was like, man, fuck. So at that point, that's when I realized I kind of had it and I had to go get myself tested because they weren't going to put me one in because they thought I was faking it and like had me like around people to come back up there until they realized like I still had a cough and I had like a headache. And so they was like waiting and waiting. Go ahead.
Pause. So this is at your job getting
Mm-hmm.
checked in or checkup, and you're saying they were like, let's keep waiting and seeing.
Basically, like, let's just keep it going. Just keep coming here like every day and like getting checked out in the morning.
Oh
So
my
I was just
goodness.
like, yo, like this shit going on way longer. I was just like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like my head booming, like it's terrible at this point. So I'm just like, I just snuck and did it. And did the test, which sucked. And
Wait, what did you do? The through the nose, mouth swab? What kind?
man, they did that little shit where they put a knife up your nose and like scrape a piece of your brain out and put it in like a
Stop.
little jar. And then they tell
So
you to
you had
move
a,
along.
a lobotomy.
No, they ain't take my brain, but they basically just went up there and tenderized it and just see if it was ready or some shit. And then they told me to go. And then 2 days later, I got the call and said I was positive.
How did that feel?
Uh, you want my honest answer? You want the answer I tell the streets?
Give me your honest answer because like
Oh,
I know
okay.
for me, like if I had a positive result, like I think about that for even like, anything else you get tested for, STDs and stuff like that. So you do all these things to know your status, and this is just an
Hmm.
extension. So if I got positive, I would low key, I would feel a little ashamed, even though like COVID and like STDs or even HIV is like a whole different thing. It's still like that feeling of not knowing, that anxiousness, and then like if it comes out positive, it's like like I'm dirty now. Like there's a stigma on me. But and then there's no cure on top of that. So it's like what do you do? What do you do? Like if I got the call,
Well,
I'd be shocked. I probably wouldn't tell nobody. I'd probably just close my blinds and really be a hermit crab up in here.
well, I didn't take it to the extreme that you took it as far as like
I
I
know that
gotta
is dramatic, but
call
it's
everybody and tell like it's an STD test or something like that. Thankfully, I've never had no STD calls ever. I've given them because I'm a preventative medicine person, so I have to
oh, so
test
you've
people.
distribute the phone call.
Oh yeah, I got to. I've distributed the call where the person's there, and I've distributed the call where the dude's like, "Can you do it for me?" And then I've stood in
What? You could
while.
do it for other, like you do it for the patient?
So you got three options. You can do it to where he does it, or you can do it to where he gives you the number, and you do it, or you can do it where you watch him do it. And then I've also had it to where the guy's wife didn't speak English. So he was just lying to her about when he gave her a STD. And I just knew something was up because she was just too calm as she was holding a newborn baby. And I think it was probably like 4 or 5 months. And so they brought a translator in and told her the truth, and she just started bawling out crying. And
Oh,
it was funny. Like it wasn't funny because she caught it, but it was funny because it's like, boy, you and he was a Filipino dude, so it ain't niggas ain't shit, but boy, you just ain't shit, boy. It was just,
for real.
but yeah, no, it was kind of like I knew, but I mean, what could I do? You know what I mean? Like for the streets, I held it down. I probably, I did like some extra shit, I bought me some extra guns. They couldn't keep a real nigga down. That's what I tell everybody else on my statuses. But for to myself, I don't know. I guess it was kind of like I knew I had it at a certain point. I knew I had it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't need the test to come back and tell me. Like I did my research enough. I seen enough, and I was just like, fuck. When I lost that, and I don't get sick, so I was just like, I knew I had it. So it was kind of like, what could I do at that point? And then it's so shitty of a disease to catch because there's no cure for it, like you said, and they don't even give you no fucking medication, right? So this is what they told me. They said,
Wait, they don't
you
even give
got
you like
hell no.
ibuprofen or
Look,
anything?
they told me to stay at the house, don't come in contact with anybody, don't do nothing, just self isolate yourself and do all this. I ain't get shit. So it was, I think I caught like pneumonia during the time too. So it was just extra, but I just didn't have time to like really panic. It was just like, what was I gonna do from there? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if I slowed down and like stopped working, so I just like went heavy on the show, right? Like I was just like doing Uber shit for the show, like nonstop. So I was
The
just working on the
podcast,
podcast
right?
heavy.
Yeah.
So I was just like, if I stop, I'm gonna sit there, freak out and shit like that. But I just didn't. It's just like I said, it was nothing I could do. You know what I mean? So I was just like, let's just say worst case scenario, I do die. And I'm just like, well, let me get out enough stuff to where they can make a bomb ass highlight reel at the funeral or some shit like that. And what I tell everybody, I say, anybody who had an 8192 t-shirt, that's the only way that you get into the funeral because you had to have a podcast shirt on. But
All
I
right. My
mean,
goodness.
at that point, you still got the red, I know. So at that point, it's nothing really you could do. I had people looking at me at the same time, so it's kind of like I didn't really have a chance to really panic and sit there and worry about myself. Because like if I was gonna sit there and panic and shit like that, then like they gonna start freaking out and shit like and everything. And then my mama and all them start calling me and shit, and my sister, and it just was kind of like, you know, what am I gonna get out of that? You know, so like I'm either I was gonna say this would be a bitch ass way to die for all the shit I had to go through in my life. This
Right.
would be like the sorriest fucking way to die. Like when a crocodile hunter got killed by a stingray, like you was supposed to die by a crocodile. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the most hating shit to be taken out by the disease versus like all the shit all over. I done stare down guns, fight niggas left and right. But I done catch some shit at home on a 4 days off of doing nothing. So
Doing nothing. Right. That was the well, that's where a lot of the fear came from. They made it seem like this was like a silent killer, like it takes nothing, like you barely knew you would have it. I remember in the very beginning of quarantine, there was like three symptoms. Three symptoms turned into like a laundry list
45.
of things. Yeah, like if you blink slowly, you might have it or something strange. And then that's the thing,
Yeah.
like I even heard like circulation issues, like you can have your toes amputated after a while. And I'm like,
Damn, she diabetic? Shit.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like they threw it in everything that it sounded like it was just the end all be all, like once you got it, it's a wrap. So yeah, I feel you. I would be highly upset. Like if this is how I'm gonna go out, that's trash. But at the same time, it is kind of happening in that regard. But it is coupled with the pre-existing ailments and stuff that if you had cancer and stuff like that, anything to
Yeah.
compromise your immune system. So
Yeah.
you
Like
never
no,
know. Like
luckily I was relative. Hmm?
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say luckily I was relatively healthy, but then it was like
That's what I was about to say. Like you're healthy.
black people they say had like a higher chance of doing stuff, but I mean I wasn't like, I'm a drinker or smoker heavy or anything like that. So I wasn't, I keep myself in good shape. So I wasn't really tripping about that. It's just I didn't want to be the one. I mean, I wanted days off, of course, but I didn't want to like be the poster child of it. But I mean, it happened and it happened. So I mean, I'm here. So I mean,
You're here to tell your story, and I'm here
exactly.
to, break the news.
Exactly. I ain't about to be like R. Kelly crying and say, you killing me with this shit. But you know, tell my piece.
So how did you take care of yourself? Like, did you take anything? Do any steam baths or any like remedies?
So every day I would just sit in the bathroom. I would steam up the bathroom and I would put on some Luther and just beat dick. So and I just let it get steamy up there and now I'm playing. No, I really just
Listen,
kind
I
of
would have believed you. Like, you gotta stop playing with me. I'm gullible. I'm like, yeah, yeah. That's a remedy.
well, I noticed I'm good with my face. So that and text message, you'll never know if I'm being sarcastic. But no, really I just kind of I hate water. So I hate it with like a passion. Like I'm only drinking like Powerades or Gatorades or like
Excuse
lemonade
you, you
packs.
don't drink water?
I mean, if I have to, I drink water, but it's like it's so regular of a drink, like it don't do nothing. Like it's just there. It's just water.
So things have to be flavored for you to drink it or
I
sugar?
mean, it has to be like enticing. Like, oh my god, I've never seen nobody be like, oh my god, I'm thirsty. Let me get water. Like that's weird to me. Like it's
What do you
nothing
mean? Like,
quenching about water.
I feel like I like waters for the purity. Like it doesn't taste like anything and it's just like a nice clear substance that's hydrating my
Nah,
soul. Like your body's made up of this substance. It's not made up of sugar and salt and all the other shit you be drinking.
look, I take my hips and I take my sugar and all that, and I drink Powerade, okay? But I'll take all that. But no, I just drank like a lot of water instead of like, and then I just had like a lot of like vegetables and like just things like that. Just kind of just kept it to where because it was really just like a lot of congestion and stuff like that. You would hear it in my voice. I was just getting to that point where I could finally like hit a note singing. So if I was singing really low, I could just like harmonize some shit. But it was so congested I could never hit the notes. So I just kind of did that to kind of loosen it up until like my nasal passages is kind of gone. The only thing that hasn't changed is like I still had like this like feel like the insides of like my nostrils are like burned off or something like that. But for the most part, like the congestion shit is gone. I just kind of just cut out maybe a lot of like the saturated shit I did and maybe all the unhealthy shit. I probably felt like that was probably the worst time to be fast fooding it out. So I just was
Oh, yes.
and then I just did like a lot of like working out because I was in the house. So I tried to do like a lot of calisthenics and things like that to take my mind off of it. And then I just play Madden, or I would play Gears of War, and I would just chill if I wasn't like recording or doing something for the podcast.
See, you were still very active, like working out, potting, like you stayed very physically active while bogged down with this illness. So what all okay, besides from the sinus um inflammation and pressure, it sounds like you lost your taste, right? You said?
Mhm.
And that was it? Or did you have other symptoms as
I
well?
lost taste and smell. I still have a cough. I've kind of learned how to hold it in now, but I kind of like had a cough, but I think that was more like from catching pneumonia and some stuff like that. But loss of taste and smell was probably like the hardest one, but it didn't last that long. It was probably last for like a week, but I probably lasted longer than that. I just didn't notice that I lost it until somebody told me that was one of the signs and symptoms.
Yeah.
Other than that, probably the only thing that kind of gets me is like the headaches and stuff. Like I went from having no headaches to like having headaches and shit like more often. So that's probably like the only lingering effect I had.
What about what was I about to say? Just your energy levels. Like, were your energy levels still pretty good? You didn't
It
feel
was the
like
same.
groggy or anything?
It was the same. Like I said, the only thing is just like be certain days when it'd be like, bow, big ass headache, and I just go lay down. So, I think I talked to you like offline or something like that. I said the only hard thing about going back to work is just like it's I'm holding in as if I'm like 100% straight, and so it's just like a lot to hold in from like when you get off. But like when I was home and I was feeling like shitty, I just go lay down and then like wake up or like just lay down for a little bit, and then I go right back to like moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. So I
Mm.
mean, it's just kind of like I didn't lose the energy per se, but it would be certain times, even if I'm hydrating all day, it's just certain times to where it just kind of hit me, and I just gotta like, oh boy, let's go. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm pretty good at suppressing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I can suppress the shit out of something. You know, like it comes from like playing sports, and it comes from like going through shit. Like I could literally put it off if I don't want to deal with the problem. So I probably should stop way long. Probably should stop way before I did. But like
Mhm.
I ain't want to like start crying and shit, talking about I'm dying. So I just kept myself busy.
That's honestly a good idea. You got to keep yourself mentally stimulated. So
Mhm.
I think that's fine. And if you have the energy, why not? That way
Yeah,
you're not just, using it as a crutch, like, oh, I can't do anything. That's a great way to maximize your time. So how
very
long
much.
do you think you had it, like the illness in your body?
So from what I'm told, it's like the chicken pox or some shit like that, right? So like once you catch it, like it doesn't go away. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't catch it again, if that makes sense.
Honestly, I don't
So
even know if I had chicken pox as a child.
okay. So we just make sure we talk to you from a distance. So but no, yeah, so it's basically like I probably had it before I started the little time I was at home, but communicable period is, how long it takes to spread. So seeing I kind of started like a week later, probably was around then. So maybe a week and a half I had it. So
So about 2 weeks,
mhm.
if I
But
math
like I said, there's a lot of people that's been asymptomatic and they have it. So it's kind of hard to really just kind of tell like when's it start and when's it go. Cause I mean, like you said, it's asymptomatic. So you don't, not everybody displays the same thing. And my symptoms was way less than a lot of people's, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, it's kind of hard to timetable. So I'll probably say like a week and a half though.
okay. I feel like, yeah, it's within the time frame they say you have to like take care of yourself, quarantine, all that anyway. So sounds about right. Um, what else? Now, okay, since you've had it, has this changed the way you take care of yourself
No,
hygienically? No? You
no. I mean, I was already a clean person. I didn't really I wash my ass 2 times a day, brush my teeth multiple times. I have a phobia that my breath stinks, so I always got gum in my mouth. So it didn't really change anything. I think it's like my 6th time saying so I'm trying to watch it. But it didn't change anything. It just made me just try to maximize my day more, just for the simple fact that you never know what's coming. Not saying I thought I was on Crips Keeper's door, but it just, as far as like hygiene and stuff like that, I didn't, like I said, seeing it didn't progressively get worse. I don't think I did anything. Like, so I'm not a smoker, I'm not a drinker or anything like that. So it's not like I had like bad habits that I needed to nip in the bud. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I know when I get sick though, I usually like will flip my whole diet. So if I was eating terribly, then I cut off everything. I'm eating all salads, all veggies. I'm knocking sugar out. Like I try to like keep my immune system boosted as best as possible. I'm gonna still take my medicine if I need, but I like to start there and then like work my way into like a healthier lifestyle. But then I never maintain it. After I'm better, it's like, okay, now I can have this cheese, dairy, and not everything bad because I deprived myself to get better. And that's why they say, well, I don't want to say they, but I can see the benefits of going vegan, vegetarian, because it's like if there's stuff like dairy, meat, and stuff that can slow your immune system, then
I did vegan before. It wasn't, it's a lot of faking. I'd rather be vegetarian than vegan.
vegan is a little hardcore. It's
I don't say it's hardcore. It's a lot of faking to me. Like, why am I making fake meat and fake chicken and fake all this shit
like
when I could just,
cauliflower wings.
exactly, like, I can just go eat this shit if I'm gonna be faking it. If I'm gonna give it up, I'm gonna be done with it. So, and then there's so much shit with milk and dairy in it. I was just like, man, look, I can give up the meat and I can give up the fish, but I gotta give up cookies, cheese, and milk. Like, that's bullshit. Like, I can't eat. I want to eat cereal with. I don't eat almond milk, so.
You don't like almond milk is straight. I haven't tried oat milk. That's the hot one right now in California, and I haven't had it. But I'm willing to try. Like these other like dairy alternatives, I'm not mad at. It's just the flavor has to be there. Like I've tried some vegan cheeses, and those don't slap at all. It's a very weird texture.
It is like, it tastes like cardboard. Now, like, they vegan chicken patties, like them motherfuckers is. I don't even go back to regular chicken. Like, you know how like the school at least always had them like chicken patties, so you
Yeah.
be having them like that. Them things was good, and I was like, man, you sure this is imitation meat? But like they got like imitation steak and imitation this and imitation that, and I was just like, this is doing the most. I wasn't like making a lifestyle choice. I was just wanting to see what it was about.
Yeah. And that's good. I feel like everyone should just like give it a try, but some people are stuck in their ways. And sometimes it just takes like health complications to get to there. I don't push it. Everyone can eat whatever they want. I just know that you might feel different, but like in a good way. Like I
Mhm.
felt lighter for sure, but I definitely had to eat twice as much to feel full
Hell
because
yeah. And I don't know if you notice, like, I have like some size on me. So like I'm eating entirely too much. First, I was like, and then when you pushed it out, like my gas was weak. Like niggas didn't respect me when I farted and shit like that. Like, bro, what did you? I was like,
there's
it
no
just,
respect level to farts.
it
Relax.
is one. Like you know, like that's like, you don't want to smell it, but you can look at him like, man, that's a man right there. But that vegan shit, that was just, I lost a couple friends from that. But no, seriously though, it wasn't nothing bad. Energy level was cool. Didn't have that like bloaty feeling about like when you eat grease and stuff like that. It was all cool. It was just, I think I like dairy products or stuff like that more than I like meat. So that's the ultimate factor of it. I don't like the losing of meat and shit. I mean the losing of dairy and shit like that. Because you put so much of it in everything.
Oh, I know, right? Cooking with it is the thing to make things good. But we kind of digressed. So going back to COVID, Do you think you'll take the vaccine when it becomes available?
Fuck no.
Why not?
Because what is it gonna give me? I already caught it. You know what I mean? So I couldn't catch it again.
True. Okay, so since you caught it, didn't anyone reach out to you about being like a test or not a test, but I think they're either collecting your blood for antibodies
They're
and
gonna have to
stuff.
pay me a bag.
Oh, okay.
I
So
ain't they ain't about to get me on no Marvel mutant shit. If I ain't coming through with no superpowers, if I ain't coming through with like no check or something like that, like I'm either gonna be Captain America, or I'm gonna have Bruce Wayne pay bank account. That's the only way that'll happen.
okay. Now, what if your job says you have to take the vaccine?
I'll be unemployed.
Okay, sticking to it. I understand. I feel like it's gonna come down to a point where they're gonna force it on us somehow.
Well, I mean, you could look at the flu shot, right? And this is like the only professional I'll sound like on here, like without being too casual. So the flu shot basically is I'm gonna give you a shot every year. What we think of it is. This year we think it's A, B, and C. So we're gonna give you a vaccine for A, B, and C.
Right.
So hopefully this is what we did our test on. This is what we're projecting. It's going to be possibly the flu that comes out. So I give you A, B, and C. Fuck around and figure out, damn, it was D, C, and E that was the actual flu. So that means the flu shot technically does not help you or keep you from getting the flu. The flu shot is a liquid of probability that they test because they've done their tests to show that like this is what they've done their research on, and these are the strands of the flu that might be out here today. So there's so many strands of the flu out there, and it's just they try to encapsulate it in one vaccine. So you can still get the flu. Excuse me. You can still get the flu
Yeah.
after getting the vaccine, but you do not get the flu immediately after having the vaccine. You cannot, if your nose starts running or if anything starts happening, that is not the flu. The flu is probably going to kill you, and you will not be making it into medical the next day talking about, I think I got the flu. So it's an inactivated vaccine. That means it's not alive. So the only time you can really get sick from something is if it's a live vaccine, the one they put in your nose. And a live vaccine just means the virus is actively alive right now, but it's not enough to hurt you, but it's enough for your body to build antibodies with. So that's the difference in that.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I definitely, well, my understanding of the flu shot was, yeah, it's a new strand of flu predicted by whoever, CDC or whoever controls it. But it's also like it's exposing you
Mm-hmm.
to the virus, and how your body reacts, whether you do get like sick or not, is
Mm-hmm.
how your body is going to fight it, I guess. I don't know.
No.
But
It's part of that. I think that's what they try to get to. Like they try to get you like, hey, we're gonna give you this and explode. No, it's like part of what you said, but it's is what they think is going to be the flu. It doesn't stop you from getting seasonal allergies or sickness and stuff like that. And if it's wrong, you can still get the flu after having a flu shot. That just means they struck and missed with it. So technically, you could have some people. I won't point them out, but you have some people who have not gotten the flu shot and they could be perfectly fine. So that's why I said it's all about probability, and that's all the flu shot is. So with that being said, I feel like there's no vaccine that you could have ready that could cure all be all in less than a year's time. So there's no way I'm going to be taking something I already caught for a preventative measure if you tell me I can't catch it again. So what's the worst that's going to happen to me?
well,
So
I thought there were cases of people catching it multiple times. No, I don't know if they were true, but
so
it is true.
so I started freaking out maybe like 3 weeks before I went back to work. I started having like same symptoms again. I was like, yo, what the fuck going on?
Uh-oh.
So I looked it up. You can't catch it again. Like I said, that's why I said it's like chicken pox or like polio or some shit like that. Like once you get it, like you get it. Like it's not like it's not like a reoccurring thing. Like you could get it and it comes back like strep throat or something. It's not like that. It's like you get it one time, it's in your blood, and technically you're no longer infectious. It's just levels to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you could get like the older person type and it's progressively, but when you get it, the only similarity that it has to HIV is when you get it, you can become immunocompromised, meaning that your immune system is down and you could actually get sick and pass from something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like you kind of run into that gray line of, but to actually get corona, it's like you're not going to relapse in it. You still have it actively in your system. So it's no purpose in me getting the vaccine, in my opinion.
Listen, your body, your choice.
That's what I try to say. But once you sign your life away to the military, they say it's their body, their choice. So,
Oh, listen, yeah, you once you're part of the government, I mean, we all are. We're all low
girl,
key
you
part of it
you
one
you
way or
you free.
another.
You ain't gotta try to be with me. I got you. You free. I live
I'm,
like
you
that.
know, I'm compromised in a different way. You know, they got my phone and everything else. So,
They ain't tapping it. I tell you this, right? So I used to think when I joined the military, it's like they giving out like these high classified ass G14 ass tests and shit. They use the most basic, like our drug test is just a regular piss test. Like it's nothing state of the art.
oh,
It's nothing out there. They got the people in the military is probably like the most regular people that you see. Like they not like this ain't no government secret. I'm telling you, but they not using like shit that you see in Men in Black or nothing like that. It's not like completely at all. It's like they're using the most standard equipment that you would see, like the same finger scanner that you got to get into like Microsoft or something like that. The same one, but we're not doing that. It's like you just showing ID. It's regular people. So
oh,
they not doing all that extra shit about tapping phones. Like if you ain't got nothing to find out, like if that was the case, then as much porn I looked at my phone, it would have been came and locked my ass up. So they not caring about anything like that until it's like legal terms. And then
yeah,
Apple is actually the one who can go in and pull all your shit off your phone versus the government. So
this is very true. I did that iOS 14 update. I didn't realize there was more terms and stuff I had to agree to. I felt a little nervous. I was like,
you
what if
read
I
them.
get them? No, but
So that's that Cali shit because I just hit agree so you can update my phone.
no, I know, but it felt different. Like I don't remember any of the updates having that many terms and condition changes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Should have read it though. But like I said, I'm part of the system now. It's fine.
The streets got me. That's fine. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. You know, they want to look at my OnlyFans or something. I don't have any secrets. It's fine.
Well, technically, you agreed to my terms and conditions because once I own like since Apple made that 4-to-1 swap, I own like probably nothing compared to like the real niggas who own in it, but like I feel like pretty big since they made that 4-to-1 swap, and I had like a
Oh,
some stock in
you
Apple.
you saying you bought some split stocks? Is that what you're
I mean,
saying?
hey, I mean we
I
this
did
thing,
too. Listen,
hey,
I took advantage.
I mean, I post. I'm glad somebody looked because I be feeling like niggas don't look at my story when I post it. So I'm glad you look. But I mean, I feel like I'm investing. So when I be like, hey, you on
Yeah.
my company now, So I got you.
Listen. Sorry, there's like a motorcycle. I live on a really busy street.
I got you.
But yeah, shout out to investing because it's a great time to do that, you know, really learning the market, how it operates and buying a few stocks and options. Generational wealth.
What's my
Yeah.
next one? Because I'll sidetrack you like a motherfucker. What's my next question?
Well, that was all the questions really. We can actually wrap this up with the last question, which is just what are your thoughts on preventative measures of COVID and how to stay healthy, how to take care of yourself, whether you've already been infected or you haven't yet? So I wanted this to be the gems portions for my listeners.
Oh, okay. So I guess I'll just switch it back to Navy nurse terms. I would say
Nigga.
preventative measures is preventative measures I would take is probably just go ahead and make sure that you do wear the mask, even though the masks don't like keep you from getting it. Still want to be precautious. The one thing I will say about it is it's a hygiene thing. So just don't be nasty as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Wash your hands, be extra cautious, keep hand sanitizer, things like that. And I will say those things will keep you from kind of catching it. Watch where you're going. If you ain't got to be out, don't be out. But if you catch it, like in my case, I say at that point, you caught it. Just kind of just live your life at that point. Just do what you got to do. Make sure you don't do anything. Don't spread to anybody else. And just kind of manage as much as you can because not everybody gets lucky, as we've seen. It's just, but you want to make sure you like maximize all your time and don't sit there and start like walking on eggshells. So, I mean, once you catch it, you caught it. It's like I said, it's a respiratory disease. So that means as long as motherfuckers is breathing, you got a chance to catch it. So
Mm-hmm. What about if you live with people? Like, how do you protect yourself then? Like, you just stay in your room?
um
Like, let's say you're married. Like,
okay.
you're gonna like most likely
So
get.
I think they look at it like they want to keep it from getting outside the house. So y'all motherfuckers can catch it. Y'all just quarantine together. It's keeping it
Okay.
inside that house. So just say if you were to catch it or somebody called in your house, excuse me, if you were to catch it or somebody called in your house, then y'all just need to stay put until like that little period goes away from y'all. And then then y'all can move about. So what you really want to do is you just want to contain it. It's more of containment than keeping it from spreading. Because I mean, at that, not everybody catches it because I've been around people and they didn't catch it. So I just caught it. So it's not guaranteed that you will catch it, but you want to contain it. So
So containing it. Wear your mask, wash your hands,
wash your ass. Yeah.
quarantine. What about oh damn, I forgot that fast. Well, okay, containing is the biggest thing, but what about sharing your status with others? Do you just tell everybody and just
I personally, it kind of goes like one or two ways. I personally would tell them just to kind of let them know. I mean, it ain't AIDS or nothing like that, or like a herpes or some shit like that. But I just didn't want to say anything because I ain't really want. I mean, I think were you paying attention when I caught mine? I just said it kind of blatantly because I was like, "Fuck it." I guess COVID done caught a real nigga. Like I just kept it like whatever.
I did
Because I
not.
mean, okay. So like I just kind of just dropped it subtly. Like
Yeah.
I ain't really want all those people like all like hitting me up and shit like that. Oh my god, what the fuck you gonna do? I will say the only part that sucked about it is like when family members and shit like that didn't come because I was like I could have died. But I don't know. That can be personal. Like I guess that's how you perceive it. Like, well, you do got well. So that's kind of like that. But it's all about like what you want from it. Do you not want people to know? Do you? Because like I said, you don't know what your last day is. So it's kind of like, do you say some shit or do you not? You know what I mean? So it's kind of
Yeah, I
like you
feel
got to
like
judge it.
yeah, I feel like tell somebody. I mean, if you really don't want to, you don't have well and see, but that's my struggle. I almost feel like you have to share it if you were at all outside or at all around people working, etc. Like somebody needs to know, you know?
Yeah.
So
Like
but if
work wise, like I mean, it's need to know basis, of course, but like just for like the masses and stuff like that. If you're just trying to get like Facebook likes and shit like that, you can keep that shit to yourself. But I mean, like I said, that's
imagine there's probably people out here doing that pity party thing, like
everybody.
you guys, I caught COVID. Send me donations, cash at me, taking full advantage.
God has a plan for me, and apparently that plan was for me to catch COVID. If I could just be a vessel of knowledge and whatever, it's not like how like pastors get caught cheating or some shit like that, and then they want to tell you how to live your life. Like that's not a nigga catch COVID or something like that. Now he gonna tell you how to wash hands. Like, bro, it ain't that deep. Like, you
No,
just caught it.
you caught it. You'll get through it as long as your immune system is not compromised, right?
Yeah, basically. Like I said, it's more of your general health that probably takes you out versus like the actual COVID. Because like I said, it's not
Right.
that many symptoms for you to test positive for. It ain't like I was because the flu takes you out. Wait, diarrhea takes you out worse than
Oh, for sure.
COVID-19 does. You know what I'm saying? So like it's other shit that'll have you like bedridden than COVID. It's just you just gotta make sure that you gotta make sure you're in a good health to do it. So like if you're
Yeah.
going through cancer or like something like that, it's gonna be probably more taxing on you because your body is already working overtime to do chemo and all that other stuff.
Got it. And to add to the gems, I do feel like just your, like how you said, your general health is the factor. You can prevent a lot of illnesses with dietary forms, like eating more vegetables, eating less sugar, stuff like that. Um, Exercising. Some people told me that I feel like this was in earlier parts of quarantine where people were doing like the steam thing where boil some
Mhm.
water with fruit like citrus and stuff and then breathing that in helps. Not sure if that's true, but you can try the holistic approach of things that might help. So There's a will
Mm,
and a way. I feel like it's all about taking care of yourself, though.
yeah, I haven't seen like the wheel, or I haven't seen people try the methods she was saying. But
You never
I
heard
mean,
about the steaming thing? I follow a lot of holistic people, though.
I haven't heard it because when I caught it, my nose wasn't stuffed or anything like that. So it was just I would have never known that I lost it if somebody didn't tell me it was one of the signs and symptoms. So that's why I was saying like, but it could probably like I agree that it could probably help loosen or like get some of that stuff up out of there because it's still congestion, help loosen up. So
Yeah. And then also, like, you could take supplements. Like, I take a vitamin C tablet, there's multivitamins, ginger tablets, turmeric. There's all kinds of things that you could do to boost your immune system. So, yeah, just take care of yourself, bottom line. And if you got it, just stay away from everybody as best you
basically,
can.
basically.
All right. Well, thank you, James. Would you like to plug anything while you're here?
I appreciate being on. I love your show. Like I said, it's the only other show that I listen to besides my own. But since you told me to plug it, make sure y'all check out the 8 More Than 92 podcast, where we
Yes.
always keep it 100. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, and YouTube. We also have our IG, the 8MT92 underscore pod. That's our IG page. And if you want to get at us for the Gmail, is the 8 More Than 92 podcast at gmail.com. We have that in Twitter. We're a very good show. We've had Miss Danielle bless us with her presence, still our highest rated episode. So she has that type of popularity to her. But
That was not for real. That was the highest rated.
yeah, I told you that. I told you this. Hmm? Yeah, it's still our highest rated one. So we appreciate that. But if y'all check us out, um yeah, if y'all check us out, it's all there. I think
I
I
love
tongue
it.
twisted that one. So
Yeah, check out 8 More Than 92. They're really dope. You know what? I should have wore your shirt, but I wear it so much. It's actually in my dirty clothes. So anytime.
okay. Good save. I got you.
It's a fact, I promise. It's such a good quality of cotton. Whatever you got, those were quality.
I
Quality
appreciate
shirts.
it. We hoodie season. Hoodie season coming up pretty soon.
Ooh, yes. I would like to purchase a hoodie from you. Let me know when those get rolling.
I got you. So yeah, hoodie season, and I don't know what we're gonna do for the spring. I got time to think about it. Somebody said beaters or something, some bullshit. But
You said beater? Oh, like
white.
t-shirt.
Oh, what do y'all call tank tops in Cali? We call them white beaters out here. What y'all call them out there?
Wife beaters, but
A
like beaters by
shirts.
itself threw me. I was like, beaters, what's the
Oh,
beater?
okay. My bad. But yeah,
Yeah, tank tops.
we let me clear my so yeah, we want to put out some tank tops that we really want to put out for our Western people. We want to make sure that we can get them styling, profiling with the sun and everything like that. We also make sure we want to kind of get some crop tops for our ladies and people that are
Oh, I love
fornicating and
crop tops.
reproducing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get some 8 More Than 92 onesies for our baby listeners out there. And we just feel
Listen,
like it's very good for us to keep it 100. You know, we can say the full words in the South too, but we just choose to slow it down a little bit. But I can understand saying the complete sentence when we say it. So just look out for our merchandise.
I'm loving the digs, the Cali digs. They're great.
It is, man. It's just especially when y'all cuss people out. Like I said, when I be watching All American or like Snowfall and all that type shit, and they just be like say the whole word when they cuss somebody out. It's just funny to me.
It's funny to me too. I'm
No, it's not
sorry.
this. You don't even notice it. You couldn't have noticed it.
I mean, I feel like the punctuation or the enunciation of words is very much
Hmm.
distinct. Like ours are hard R's, especially in LA. It's such a thing. But anyway, we're wrapping up the episode. But
Yes,
James,
ma'am.
thank you so much. I appreciate your insight on COVID. I appreciate your podcast, and I want everyone to tune into it, support the podcast like you guys support me. And to support me, please follow girlwhat_pod on Instagram. That's the IG page for my pod. I still need reviews on Apple. So if you can go to Apple and rate me 5 stars, not two, five. I don't know who did that. That was rude because they didn't leave an explanation. If you're going to give me 2 stars, tell me why. I would love to know. So yes, the reviews are just as important as the star rating. So please hit me up there. And yes, that was another episode of Girl What. Thank you, James. And toodaloo, you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy.